What's up, Titan X? How's everybody doing? I got a special guest here for you. We all know why we're here, but first, I'm gonna give you a little tease. Bubbles. Hang on, let me bring the real guy up. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, well, thanks for the invitation. How's it going, buddy?
Absolutely, man. I'm doing great. You always have my invitation, no matter what, even if I don't give it. You can always hop on any of my streams and just shout Matrix and then jump off. I don't care. I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Not too bad, man. It's definitely been a long day for me, but I was looking really forward here. And obviously, man, one thing which keeps me happy is these bubbles, man. I fucking love them.
Dude, the bubbles are great.
Yeah, right. I mean, the thing is, I think the day before yesterday, yes, let's fucking go. The day before yesterday, there was, I think, Jake or something. So I'm not sure who. There was somebody who basically said it's like it would be cool if Titanic's ecosystem would have bubbles. And then Jake answered and he tagged me. He's like, "Hey man, can we have these bubbles? How easy or hard is it?" So the beauty of this was I had the data prepared more or less, so and then I just spent basically I didn't go to sleep and I was just like I need to get this done. I need to get this done. And then it's like yeah. And yesterday on the stream I was like okay, I'm gonna push it. But yeah, I pushed it a bit earlier later on, but it's working now. So I fucking love it, man.
I love it too. And
Yeah.
you don't have to lie to us with your like, oh, I'm losing sleep. We know you're a robot, Mike. It's okay. Like,
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
you're an animal, man. You're doing so much for this ecosystem. I don't honestly know how you're even finding the time to keep expanding your horizons so much by trying all this new stuff. And now
Yeah.
now you're trying it, your hand at being a builder, and
Yes.
you're gonna launch a protocol here for us, and that's why we're here
Yeah.
today. But I know it's an ongoing joke calling you a robot, but it's out of just undying love and adoration, for you from the community because man, you're a machine. You're just cranking it out and it's all for this community and we appreciate it more than any of us could ever say. We could tweet it every day and it wouldn't be enough. You're just an absolute asset to this community. So
I mean,
let's
this
fucking
is
go.
yeah. I mean, this is really awesome to hear, and I really appreciate that. And I just give my best. Really, is like try to push new features, trying to find out new things. Now we have the bubbles. Now we have the new Matrix project. So I'm trying to push the limit.
It's awesome, man. You're doing a great job. And I I don't know how you do it. Like just be like you're so good that I have a feeling you're just inundated by an inbox of can you do this? Can you try this? Can we see this? Can you do this?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're doing it, man. Anytime there's a really solid idea and you sit there and you go, "Yeah, I can do that. Let's fucking do that."
Yeah.
It's awesome to watch, man. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, so a lot of things. One thing which I really like as well is I do get a lot of like feedback from the community, and this is essentially how, like, I mean, how you improve in life, essentially, right? When you get the feedback, like the people will tell you stuff. When you produce something, people will tell you. I mean, maybe if they want to be a bit more harsh, they will send it in the DM, which is totally fine. So you're like, hey man, I didn't like this shit. I'm like, all right, man, fair enough, man. I'm gonna try and improve on that. So something while I was building these bubbles as well, for instance, McKinsey also gave feedback regarding the design. So I like that. It's like, hey, no, no, no. I think the icons they had to be round. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And then somebody else was like, hey, I wanna if I click on it, I wanna see the deck screener chart. I was like, okay, fair enough. So now it's like, hey, you can move the bubbles, and now there's some other things like, oh, I want to see because now the default is 24-hour performance, 24 hours
Hmm.
performance. So now there are some other people that want to see whatever 6 hours or 5 minutes performance or 1 week, like how it performed.
How many time frames can you put on there?
So I mean, I'm gonna figure something out. I'm like, okay, maybe we're gonna start with 24 hours, 6 hours, 2 hours, and 5 minutes or something like that, right? And then go from there. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go so degen style to like. I mean, sure, like 1 minute or 5 minute. Like,
I mean,
go to
they're
deck screener. Go to your 1 minute screen. Like, come on.
I mean, there are people out there playing this game differently. Everybody has like
Hey,
their
fair
own.
enough. Fair enough.
Everybody's like, no, man. It's like I need this. I need the hour. I need the day. I'm like, hey, man, whatever your game is, man, I'll try to help you win.
I'll tell you what you can what might be a suggestion. Let me see
Yeah,
if
fire away, man.
I'm gonna see if they have it. So I'm just not making this up off the top of my head. I know on
Yes.
gopulse.com they have all-time low as one of their metrics.
Oh,
So they got like
yes.
5 minute, 1 hour, 6 hour, 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, all-time low. So
Yes.
I know someone said from launch, yeah, from launch, but give me the all-time low
Yes.
to now.
Yes.
That's a good number to have.
I, I think that's definitely something I'm gonna be adding. All time low.
Nice.
Why not? And then we're
Yeah.
gonna have a big ass Titanic's bubble. Yeah, that's I mean, right? It's like we need to know that.
Yeah,
We need to
absolutely.
know that. Yeah.
Because those are the ones you want to advertise.
Of
Don't give me
course.
the 1 hour. Like, come in and Titan X. We're 10,000%. You're like, really? You're like, I mean, yeah, since the all-time low, but we're talking about, we're giving you the good
Yeah.
number. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful. This is I really liked working on the bubble, so there's definitely going to be some improvements coming on the bubble. So yeah, there's that. I mean, yeah. I mean, some of the stuff is just like probably moving them around. Some people would like to have them a bit more heavier because now it's like very easy. But I'm like, okay, bro, wait, this is the
There's
first
always going to be
version.
a complaint somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. The thing is, most of these things is like what I like to do, especially, is just to have the first version out, which is like good enough, and then improve on that because it's much easier when you have something because you get feedback. It's like, hey, no, we don't like this, right? I mean, the same way as like the portfolio side, that's also something which most people use.
Bro, you do. It is the only portfolio page that I use.
Exactly. So, I mean, thank you, man. And one of the things there is like I'm a bit behind adding new stuff in, right? So there's Ouroboros section, for the RX token, right?
Mhm.
There's definitely like 3 4 whales on Ouroboros who message me. They're like, hey man, we need that. And one of them is Trader Lee.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I think that's public anyway. I think Trader Lee tweeted about that anyway, about Ouroboros. So so I have a lot of things in the pipeline. Ouroboros is almost finished, but Matrix, man, this is something why I haven't even been streaming a lot the last few months or so. So it seems like, yeah, I try to keep up with the tweets, but it's yeah, a lot of work so far.
Priorities, sir.
Yes, yeah. So, but anyway, it is what it is. We are here now, and I'm really looking forward. I mean, I have the launch date already, the 17th of December for Matrix, man. So, yeah, get ready, man. Have your Titanics and ETH ready.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's a good segue. Should
Yes.
we go into the white paper for Matrix?
Yeah, we can go to the white paper. So, do you wanna go to the white paper, or you wanna go to the TL draw, or more? You'd like more of the white paper?
Um, what do you want to do? Do you want to show? I mean, how well do you know the white paper? Can you just do the white paper verbally
Yeah.
while we go through the drawings?
Yeah, I mean, essentially I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, however you want to
Yeah.
do it. It's
Yeah.
it's
I
your
think
protocol, brother. You tell me how you want to do it.
yeah. I mean, I like more I mean, it's more like a preference thing that I like more like drawing stuff because it's just much easier to point at things than
Let's do it.
yeah, that way. I mean, there are some people out there who can speak very, very well, but I just like to have, like the drawings, you know. So probably let's just get started about like right in the beginning, right? What is Matrix? What is the goal, and how did I come? Like, what was the design decisions I came so that we are here right now today, right? And I mean, one of the things is probably just to give a quick TLDR, too long to read, which is it's a cap supply deflationary token. The input is Titanix or ETH, and the ETH will buy Titanix straight away. It's a 28-day auction where 80% of the supply will be in the first 8 days. So the majority of the supply essentially is going to be on the first 8 days. There's going to be a buy and burn as usual. Part of the money which is coming in will be going to the buy and burn, and the other part will also be going to the Matrix Vault, which is going to buy Hyper and stake that. And obviously in the payouts, it's gonna. That's why I wrote sustainable here on the buy and burn, is because part of the Hyper payout is going to also be going to the buy and burn, but also part of that is going to be going back to the Matrix Vault to be restaked again. Yeah, so that we are keeping the staking. And the thing about the staking part is obviously there is going to be now new demand now for Hyper essentially, right? So the tightening which is coming in, it's now a new demand, which because I essentially I have to be buying up Hyper through that liquidity pool. So that is the new buying pressure which is coming to Hyper. That's one thing, right? And then the other thing is now why potentially I chose to build on Hyper is also like a lot of other things. Like it seemed to me rather at the time that everybody was like choosing to like to build on top of DragonX, right? And for whatever reason, I thought like Hyper is something where people like, I don't know, it's like something forgotten in some ways, right? So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna like let me go to that place where everybody's like somewhat looking away. Uh, Obviously, it's like a lot of things which are already established, like DragonX and other stuff. It would have probably been a path of least resistance per se, let's say. Maybe I don't know, because they're well established already. So here this is like a little bit new in some ways, but Hyper is there. But yeah, probably very long-winded, but at the end of the day, so we have the buy and burn, and then lastly there is the patient incentive pool, which we can talk a bit about later on. Anyway, I was rambling quite a bit, man. Did it make sense, Mo?
Yeah. No, you're perfect, Mike. Come on, that's perfect. But, look, if people are jumping on this stream to watch me interrupt you, I got a disappointing thing to tell you. I'm not trying to interrupt Mike today. Okay, I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let it get. No. I'm not gonna interrupt you, except for that right there.
I mean, you should. I think.
No, it makes sense. I like it. I'm super stoked. You gotta. It's gonna be permanently capped after 28 days. Correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Stoked. Super stoked. I like these protocols a lot. Give me a permanently capped deflationary protocol. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is one of the design decisions I had initially from the get-go, and that was, I mean, I wanted to have like a cap supply token in some ways, and well, obviously the buy and burn is something very beneficial to that as well, you know. But then the other thing which I was really thinking about was like, okay, a lot of the like I wanted for people who somewhat believers or like people who like think that they want to participate in the long term of the project is how do I incentivize them? So the one of the big questions like which I was really thinking about, and I was like, I don't know, how do I do this like in a way that is somewhat game theoretically also somewhat unpredictable in some ways, right? So that's what I came up with the patient incentive pool, which we can talk about later on, because I think it's like a fun way to make it to do it, and it's not very easily predictable in some ways because there is a lot of moving parts in some ways, right? So that's one of the things which I was looking about, right? Like in the design phase, I was like, okay, how do I like the long-term believers? Like how do I incentivize them as well, right? And then lastly, the point which the other one which I was looking to do it as well is obviously I want to be like the Matrix, like the Vault, like that has to be something which is like a sustain, like a solid foundation which you can build upon. And the reason why I'm saying that is essentially, right, the Matrix Vault is essentially like, I mean, probably some of the viewers know the Dragon X Vault, right? Which is it, you feed in Titan X and that gets staked forever. The Matrix Vault is you send in, so with Dragon X, you send in Titan X, but with Matrix Vault, you can send in Hyper, Titan X, or ETH. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if you send in ETH, it's just going to buy Titanix and then buy Hyper at some point, and then going to stake that. And if you send in Titanix in there, it's just going to buy Hyper and then going to stake that. So that's this. That is the sustainable foundation which I wanted to build as well, which is like, hey, feed me anything. At the end of the day, at some point in an interval, I'm going to be buying Hyper and stake that forever. So that is like taking Hyper essentially, make that as well, like deflationary in some ways.
Okay, so it's similar to the way that Dragon X became the dominant staker in the Titan X staking. Matrix is going to become the dominant staker in Hyper. Is the goal here, correct?
I mean, yeah, that's like part of the goal. Yes.
Yeah, I mean not the goal, but it is at least in terms of that analogy. That's what you're going for there.
Yeah. I mean, part of
And
that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. But the difference here is obviously right. For Hyper is there is two things, right? The payouts are less frequent,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the second thing is also they're not as big, let's say. I mean, for now, they could be growing in the future because there's a lot of funds in the Hyper buy and burn, so they can definitely grow. That's one thing for sure. But at the end of the day, one of the reasons why also here there's a split essentially, right? So part of the money goes to the Matrix Vault and the other part goes to the buy and burn straight from the get-go. This was very much different to Dragon X. Dragon X, basically, all the Titan X they received, they staked that. But
Right.
that was the best thing to do there because obviously there was just other funds on the line essentially. So here it's not as much. So you need to have this split, and also this split. If there is too much money going that way, is like there's ways we can basically divert that so that it goes more to the buy and burn, because at the end of the day, it's like this is the backstop of the whole system, the buy and burn, right?
Right.
Which
Right.
is like you want that somewhat very well funded as soon, like well funded if possible.
Yeah, I apologize for making the direct comparison to Dragon X. I mean, obviously nothing's going to be directly compared to that, and the dynamics will be different with each protocol. It's
mean,
just
that's
sort of an
totally
easy way to
fine.
think about it in my head.
I mean, that's totally fine because at the end of the day, it's like I think it's much easier to explain something which is already exists in some ways than trying to, yeah. I mean, that's why you have analogies of things, so that it's just much easier to explain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. I mean, so probably we can talk about like the auction system, right? I mean, it's going to be an auction system, right? So there's a bit different here a little bit, right? I mean, probably you guys like you participated in Volt, and now the one which is currently going on Hyper as well, which is doing pretty all right. Turbo. I was just checking it up. I forgot the name, man. It's been a long day.
I heard you doing that. You're like dragging it out. You're like, that protocol, Turbo. That's the one right there. Got it. Yeah, I do that shit all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. I just like opened a new tab and went to titanxf.com, scroll down, Turbo. Yes.
You can't blame you. Steve's a madman with how many damn things he's making here.
Yes.
How can I keep up with him? I even literally forgot on stream yesterday. I think it was probably Turbo. When I was like, yeah, these guys are streaming over here, and there's good streams, so just go check them out. I'm like, I don't even know what the fucking stream is. I already forgot. Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, but and the thing is, like, I had to enter them all into the database, so it's like, Oh, there's Turbo, there's Gold, there's Alpha X, they
You ever start typing in the wrong one? You're like, no, damn it, Steve. I imagine there's so many nights at night where some of us are just like pounding keyboards. Damn you, Steve. And then the next day it's like, thank you, Steve.
yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. Anyhow, like
Okay, so the auctions.
yes, the
That's my
auction, right?
derail.
Exactly. So I mean, the auction, yeah. I mean, like you guys know the auction potentially if you have participated in Turbo, but at the end of the day, like in the auction, for people who haven't participated in them, it's just another way of distributing tokens. That's essentially it. Yeah. Ask question. Okay, yeah. Essentially, like auction system is just another way of distributing tokens. I think I mentioned that yesterday in the stream as well. Essentially, there's like three different ways of distributing tokens. Three big ways, essentially, right? One is obviously mining, like virtual mining, like Titanix. That's just one way of it. And then you can do like some changes and modify them in some manner. But essentially, virtual mining is one category of distributing tokens. The other one is oh man, what was that again? So there's oh, and then just minting, right? Like just normal minting, right? It's like yeah, you pay that amount, and this is the ratio, and then the ratio goes down. And then there's also ways you can play around with the parameters to make it probably a bit more interesting. And then lastly, you have the auction, and there it's like so you as these are the main ways of how to distribute tokens, and I chose the auction essentially. There's definitely like pro and cons for all of them in some ways. I think for auction, to get the price, especially initially, is much easier to like to set a price. Um, essentially like after one day or so, like you know exactly where the price is, somewhat more or less.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And then it's like if you look at mining, you know what happens with the price because like all the supply is coming in the future. So the price is high and it goes low. That's essentially what is virtual mining. This is how it happens. But I mean, that's just another way of distributing tokens. Anyhow, rumble too much about how the ways to.
No, you're fine because I think one of the really fascinating things about this ecosystem for me is how much it's the evolution of every aspect. Like we spent months perfecting buy and burns and figuring out the best sort of ratios and the best way to execute a buy and burn, and now we've been doing the best way to distribute tokens. We've watched different ways of mining, different ways of auctions. So I'm fascinated by it all, and I love it. I know I had a certain opinion on auctions before the Titan X system
Yes.
happened, and now that I've watched the way that we do it, I'm like, oh, I see what happens. Auctioning is also a way to avoid dead periods in mining, where
Yes.
this dead period mining will happen almost inevitably in every mining protocol. And that doesn't happen with the auction process because there's always that ROI. I mean, sure, people might leave the ROI on the table, but it's way more unlikely that ROI will
Yes.
just be left on the table than to just, wish and hope that mining will just keep going forever. So it's awesome. I love the constant refinement of all the ideas in this system.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is also probably something I've seen like for a lot of people who did not understand like how the auction system works in some ways is that sure it's just like one way of distributing tokens and there's like benefits to that and there's like advantage disadvantage like everything else essentially, but for a lot of people it's like I don't know like I was reading a lot of comments which I was just like okay maybe I think they haven't gotten how it works essentially, right? Yeah, but anyhow, I think the point was Matrix is going to be an auction system. There's a bit of a detail here, which is a bit different to probably all the other projects who are doing auction as well. It's just a little thing which I was observing, which I thought would make sense to implement here as well. And that is uh, in the first 23 hours, essentially, when you enter the auction, you're going to receive it. You can claim it at the end of the auction if you want to. And if you enter in the last hour, you can claim it 1 hour after the auction.
I like it. I like it.
Yes. So this is the reason why I chose to do this is because I've been basically observing all the auctions going on, and they essentially like there are bots out there which you cannot compete with. There's no way you can compete with them. They essentially like they check the ratio like right before the auction ends, one block before they participate, one block after they dump. I rather have a human do that if you can get that ROI. I rather you have the chance to do it, but you going one block before it ends, one block after, you will never hit that as a human. There's no way you can do that.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
So essentially, this was just like, okay, this is something which is like, okay. And the thing is, like, if you're like want to participate in Matrix, like getting 1 hour later, okay, who cares really? I mean, it's like 1 hour later. And also on top of that, there is the patient incentive pool, which is yes, after 24 hours, you can always claim your tokens, but you can also just wait longer. And you're gonna
Oh,
yes, and you're gonna
oh,
be in the patient incentive pool.
oh, oh, I
Yes,
like
mom.
that.
Yes, mom.
Oh, I like that. I like it, Mike. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, is it just gonna be like, staking, if you hold long enough, you'll get access to it. Oh, you gotta
Right
claim
away.
later. Oh, I
Yes.
like that.
You
Oh,
don't have
that's
to
a
do
new
anything. Like you're
dynamic.
already part of that. Like you don't have to do anything. It's like if you just happen to claim later, I
I
have
felt
no
that was an appropriate time to pull this comment up.
cryptographics. Yes, sir.
So maybe not in that example, but I like that example. If you do have patience, there is a patience reward pool. Maybe you could call it. I like that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about the patient incentive pool because I think it's also should be somewhat clear to the people how it works because like I think it's good to know how it works essentially because then you don't want to like I mean all my interviews I've done the reason why I have all these drawings and stuff like that is to just make it to the people who want to participate to know exactly what they expect like from how it functions because then
Yeah,
you can make a better decision an informed decision if you know how the game is being played. Yeah,
100%. And I shout out to you, by the way, with doing the drawings and doing it visually. At the same, not all of us are talented like you, like say me. I can talk, but I can't talk and draw at the same time. I can't. I can't draw. Period. So the fact that you can visually do it while you're also talking about it, people understand information in a lot of different ways. Some people understand it visually. Some people, understand it, you know, um, audibly, and some
yes.
people understand it through multiple tellings in multiple different ways. So you're knocking it out of the park with your streams, honestly. Like there's kind of a reason why I dumb down my streams a little bit, and
Hmm.
it's not hard because that's my baseline is being at a dumb level. But you do such a perfect job of giving it in multiple formats that is easier to digest. That you do a great job. I just want to say that. I guess that's my point. You do an amazing job.
I mean,
So
the goal for me essentially is just that, like a lot of these things, like yes, there's some complicated parts to it, sure, but my goal is just to make it so that like you understand the game. You know, it's like, hey, this is the game. So, cryptographics. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you.
appreciate you for being here, sir. Shout out to Cryptographics and shout out to Taurus. Can't wait for that
Yes,
one to come around. That one's going to be
there
awesome.
it is. I think it's
Check out the
in
streams he's
January.
been doing, by the way, on Taurus, because those are some awesome streams.
Yeah.
Legit. I caught the last two he did. They were perfect. I understood everything he was saying perfectly. Normally, I need to listen to like 2 or 3 streams before I kind of get the gist of it. Because, like I said, I'm dumb. I can usually get it on yours on the first one because I'm
Okay.
watching and I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
But sometimes with other people, like I'll need to watch them go on 2 or 3 streams and hear them say it 2 or 3 different times before I
Gotcha.
get it. But his streams are awesome. I got Taurus and got FOMO immediately on Taurus.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, That's great. I mean, Cryptographics is doing a great show, man. It's like, I think the duo with Crypto Kindness. Oh man, I like that show. I think they work really well together.
Yeah, they do great. The
They
rapport
really
between the
do.
two is awesome. I always have to
Yes.
catch it on replay though, because those guys are starting like before I even wake up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I do watch. I think I catch the first one. I was like, damn, man, these guys like so good, you know. And then I was thinking like, okay, because like they're so smooth in the talking. It's like, dude, I'm not that smooth. How the fuck? It's like this is really good. You know, but then I found out, okay, I think Crypto Kindness is, I mean, he's in sales.
Yes.
If I'm, yeah. So I mean, well, sales is like a lot of, yeah, obviously, like you need to talk all the time, and I'm a dev man. Like I talk with my screen, you know.
You
So
need the office space guy who's like, no, I talk from the devs to the people. They
I mean,
can't talk to the people. I talk to them.
I mean, one of the reasons why, which is really great, is because also like me doing all these interviews, I'm like somewhat forced to, you know, like interact or like talk, and you know, so it also improves my talking as well quite a bit.
You're doing fine, Mike.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
yeah. So probably let's just continue here. Maybe just last thing. So the auction, yeah, like normally it's just 24 hours, right? And then an auction end, you can claim your tokens, but you can also wait longer. And you're automatically in the patient incentive pool, essentially. You don't have to do
Okay.
anything. You're already in there. And but if you want 24 after the auction end, you can just claim your tokens. And obviously, if you came in the last hour, you just get it 1 hour later. You can claim 1 hour later, but you can just wait as well. So the reason why I added this part here is this is the official liquidity pool for WETH Titanix. And the reason why I just added here is to just show you that if you deposit Titanix, that Titanix will be used straight away. And if you deposit ETH, it's going to buy Titanix first.
Gotcha.
That's the only reason here. And then the
Sounds good.
distribution, yeah. And then the distribution here is, well, like 4% goes to Bill on Titanix project, DragonX, and Phoenix. And I think I talked about that yesterday. Is essentially one, I didn't want to be last on Titanix as well because the default the default order is Bernie Titanix. I was like, ah, shit. Why did I choose that parameter? I mean, that was like, I mean, obviously, like Bill on Titanix is all about burning Titanix as well. But I mean, nevertheless, it's like Hyper is essentially Bill on Titanix anyway. And I'm going to be locking up Hyper. So I'm indirectly burning.
Yeah, I'm starting at the top of the list. That's what's happening. Look, you guys don't understand.
It's like I'm gonna like stop at top of the list.
It's
And
like asterisk, 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 and this asterisk. Look, if you understand Hyper, that's why I'm at the top of the list here. And then look, if you remember the value of ETH per swap of Titan X, that's why I'm at the top. Like, what are you
no.
talking about? You're like, shut up, I'm at the top of my list.
Now I have to, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Like I have to follow the rules like everybody else. I can't play
I
those
know,
rules.
I know. I love it.
One thing though I would like to add on Titanix Sub is, first of all, that was an idea actually I read today. I think Bad Sports, I think he tweeted something, right? And the tweet was like, "Oh, the Inferno Kingdom is pumping, whatever," and he mentioned those tokens. So the filter I would like to have is so that you can switch to all the kingdoms.
Okay, that's
You
not a bad
know?
idea. Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
that's a good idea.
Exactly, because now at some point maybe there's going to be a lot of tokens, right? And then you want to be like, hey, how is that kingdom doing actually?
That's a good point because I know there's I don't know what website does it, but there's some crypto website which talks about if you click on a crypto, it'll tell you which cryptos are and how correlated they are to the moves.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
like, when this moves, this thing has like an 80% traditional correlation to this move. And so I mean, like, we wouldn't be necessarily doing something like that,
Yeah.
but you could find that out by then just filtering down into let me see the Inferno Kingdom. Like, Oh, all of these are in within that group. Okay, that gives me a better understanding of how they all interact. So that kind of makes me
Absolutely.
think of that because that was a I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that was, but that was a neat tool where it showed you historical data based on when this thing pumps, this thing, its price
Yeah.
action correlates to it almost 80% or something like that.
By the way, if you find that link, I would like to really,
Okay.
I would like to see that how it works, man. If you find the link, shoot the
Okay.
link. Really nice. And so, I mean, here, I mean, I could make it here essentially, right? To make the kingdom. So you can choose the kingdom, and then you're gonna see the bubbles, and then also here, this is also Steve DeFi wanted to have this somewhat, right? I mean, he did not say it directly. He just mentioned it generally. But for instance, right now, Viper, obviously, it says 0 here because it's not burning Titan X directly, but it has been burning Dragon X, you know? So, which
Yeah.
is like, if you have, let's say, probably at the top here, like the filters, so you can click the Dragon X Kingdom, and then all the ones which have burned Dragon X, they can be shown here as well
Oh, I
in
see.
that
That would
order.
make sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
Right? I think it makes sense, right? And if you go to like Inferno, let's say Kingdom, there's going to be projects who have burned Inferno as well, and you can
Yep.
just
I
list
like it.
them. And then the order for that will be, yeah, how much they've burned,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for that. I mean, obviously, it's going to be then the Hyper or Matrix Kingdom. I don't know. We'll figure out how things work out, but uh, and then I can be hopefully at the top as well on that one.
This is all a game to get to the top of another list.
Exactly. I'm not gonna be on top of this one, fair enough. And then I'll make a list where I'm gonna be at the top. Nah, nah, that's just messing with you. So,
I love it. I love it. Crypto
so
Compassion, what's up, man? Thanks for being in the chat.
shout out to you,
Guys,
man. How's it going?
I'm starring all the questions and we'll kind of get to them here in just a bit.
Fair enough.
I just want to go through this first.
Exact. Yeah. So the Matrix, you participate in the auction. Yeah, BOT, and then you have Genesis 8%, and then 8% liquidity wallet. I think if you check the yesterday's stream, I think I went more regarding liquidity as well, which just makes sense. I don't want to repeat it now, everything, but I
You're
think
fine.
I talked with Eric yesterday quite extensively regarding the liquidity
It was
wallet.
a great stream. If you guys didn't check out that stream, Mike streamed with Eric from Dragon X yesterday. Awesome, awesome stream.
Yeah, it was really good. One thing was a bit there was for whatever reason, I don't know, either it was my connection or his connection, there was always like a bit of delay, so I could hear him like 1 2 seconds later. So it was like for me it was very weird to
It's
interact.
hard. It's super hard when there's a noticeable delay or even
Yeah.
a significant one. I had that with Revo from Felix
Okay.
Protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 3 second delay. It was so hard.
Yeah, because because now like when you talk, I can react, but then like with the delays, like oh god, it's like I think like after like 1.5 hours or so, I was because you have yeah, it was a bit harder like for but anyway, at the end of the day, I think it was a
It
good
was
stream.
it didn't sound that bad. Like there was the initial audio problems you guys had
Hmm.
with I guess Eric was coming in and out on certain feeds.
I
It
think so.
sounded good on my YouTube feed. It didn't sound that bad.
Yeah, that was
But
weird
then
because like
it
everybody
cleared
was
up.
saying different things, and Mo was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, it works
everyone
fine
had a
for me."
completely different. Like fine for me. Eric's choppy. Oh, it's good. Eric sucks. Like it's, it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
But no, it worked out. It worked out fine. It was a good
worked out.
stream.
Yeah. So here, this is so obviously when the Titan is coming in, is like you're not gonna be. I'm not gonna be like you cannot just buy hyper straight away with it, right? I mean, because it's like you have to go through the liquidity pool, and you cannot just create one big green candle and then people just dump that. So like it's gonna be in an interval, like the buy and burn essentially, right? And very similar to like buy and burns, right? You yeah, is like in an interval. There's a cap, an interval, and an incentive fee to buy that up, and it's going basically buy hyper from the original or the official liquidity pool, um, and then send that to the matrix vault. And in the matrix vault, obviously, there's also going to be a function here for the users as well, where whenever there is 100 billion hyper, people can call that function, and then the stake will essentially happen.
And will it roll over when the max stake runs out?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. It's so these tokens, when they're staked, they will be forever staked. And I mean, it's also max stakes for 3,500 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's, it's a while.
it's a while essentially, but when that time comes, they're going to be restaked again, which is like forever.
Okay.
So those tokens will never come to circulation again, which is good for hyper, right? That's
Yep.
one thing for sure. And here probably the matrix vault as well, this is something which I mentioned earlier, is that the sustainability part, or like the base, which is somewhat like you want to build on a base which is strong, and the way to make that strong is to have optionality of accepting a lot more funds than, like, you can send in Titanix, ETH, or Hyper, right? And the question is like, who's gonna send Hyper, or who's gonna send ETH, who's gonna send Titanix? Obviously, there's other projects, there's people who have other ideas. There's also me innovating in some fronts. There's things I'm working behind the scene on Titanix Hub. Like, I mean, when things come out, new ideas come out, there's always way how potentially it can be incorporated in the matrix as well. But
I mean,
then
yeah. I mean, it's easy. I can think of a million different reasons. I mean, if I don't have Titan X and I have ETH, there you go. If I've already gone through a couple of cycles of this and I'm getting hyper, I can go right back in with the hyper. So
yeah,
it's good. I like it.
yeah,
I think this is the way forward, to have multiple paths in, as long as it's always, buying straight Titan X and swapping that way in. But
yeah.
I think this new way forward is the way to go.
I think so. I think so. Definitely, definitely. But I mean, obviously, this is here in the beginning, the Titanix, Ethan Hyper. This is for later on when
Right.
like when people start building on top of it, right? The reason you would send it. So for now, let's say if you on DragonX, you cannot send ETH in the DragonX vault because it was not programmed to do so. So this
Right.
is just something which I added in, so that is like I just have that optionality.
I
And
got you.
yeah. So yeah, I just have that optionality where I can. I think even the front end is not even shown yet because we're not gonna have ETH. We're not gonna have ETH there in the beginning, but that can come later. Essentially, if there's new projects building on it or other ideas, right? I'm innovating in
Yep.
a lot of stuff in Titanix Hub and stuff like that. Exactly. And then here the claimed hyper. So when the payout day come, this is also, there's going to be function as well here. I mean, I didn't add the user function, but anyhow, it's going to be a function here. Oh, actually, there should be two functions here. I'm just realizing. So this was for claiming the hyper when the payout comes, but there's also a function to stake as well.
Right. I got
Yeah,
you.
So this is something I should have added it here as well. But I mean, now you hear it. Exactly. So once the payout comes, the hyper gets claimed. Here's 96% because 4% goes to Genesis, and then 50% of the rest. So 96%, 50% of that goes to Matrix Vault to be restaked again. And then the other 50% goes to the Matrix buy and burn.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the buy and burn, as you can see, it gets fed by the hyper payout. That's the one which is, as long as there's going to be any payouts happening, the Matrix buy and burn will always be fed by that. And obviously, initially also, there's going to be Titanix coming in here from initially, right? Because
From the launch. Yeah.
from the launch, exactly. I mean, here I've drawn it as two separate parts, but essentially it's just one. It's the matrix buy and burn, essentially. But I've just drawn it here in such a way that you can see it's at an interval. We're going to be buying hyper and send that to matrix. Well,
That's
matrix buy
where
and burn.
all the Matrix buy and burn energy is coming from until after the launch. And then after the launch, it then comes from the payout cycles, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. Exactly. And then so the matrix bind burn, obviously, so it's gonna have Titanix, and then it's gonna have hyper. Yeah, and so the Titanix also basically same as every bind burn. You're gonna have like it's gonna be in like there's gonna be a cap per swap and then an interval. So you're gonna be buying up slowly the hyper, and also this is something which so because at the end of the day, is like we are leveraged on hyper, right? But we are accepting ETH. So that's something also strategically, I think, a better way potentially to do this. This is like my thought process was um, you still have the Titanix, which basically can be utilized to buy hyper when time, or like when strategically, when things become more uh, just better when yeah, just better, a better timing, let's say. So
Yep.
that's also something to just be said about that. So we have the matrix vault, we have the bind burn, and the only thing left now is obviously the patient incentive pool, my friend.
I like it. Tell me
Yes,
about
sir.
this.
Yes, I'll tell you. So so the thing is, like, this was the idea for me, was like, okay, I need to get people, how I need to incentivize long-term people, or the people who believe in the project, right? And I was like, okay, one idea was like, you know what, I'm gonna part like a portion of the supply, I'm just gonna put it in the patient incentive pool. So there's just going to be a chunk of money, whatever, like let's say 1%, just add it in there, and then essentially that's how people going to get more tokens essentially. And then I was talking to some few people, and Eric, I said that yesterday. Eric proposed, is like, you know what? Why do you better not create new inflation, rather just use whatever is on the market already. And then he proposed that this should actually come from the buy and burn. And I thought that was actually a better idea. It's like, I believe in my ideas, but if I hear a better one, I just had, I'm just gonna drop mine. Like, it is what it is. I mean, this is how things are. It's like there are people who just come up with some ideas, improvements, and you're like, I really like my idea. But I mean, at the end of the day, was the patient incentive was still the idea I had. Is just now, where does the input come from? And his idea was like, rather not create new inflation, rather just buy it. So that was the idea. I was like, okay, this is great. So now, whenever the buy and burn gets triggered, not 100% of that it gets burned, only 95% of that gets burned. And the other 5% goes to the patient incentive pool.
Gotcha.
So in the beginning, it's going to be essentially zero. And then once the buy and burn starts going, then it's going to start to fill up. But now comes another thing, which I have to explain a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So when you participate in the auction, you automatically in this patient incentive pool. You're automatically in there, essentially. So, and how, and it's also basically, it's relative how many tokens you have relative to all the other people who are also, who haven't claimed yet. That's how the distribution is, right? So I mean, if there is whatever 100 coins which are still unclaimed, and you own 10 of those tokens, just as an example, you have 10% of the patient incentive pool share, 10% of that.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yes. But now comes another kicker. So you own 10% of the pool now, of the patient incentive pool. But there is, to keep it simple, there is daily distribution, or not like distribution, but there is daily allocation of it. So now the patient incentive pool, let's say as an example, there is thousand tokens in there, right? Um, in the beginning, if you own 10% of the pool and there is 1,000 tokens in there, they are not distributed on that day, or like it's only a percentage of that. So not the whole 1,000 tokens will be available on that day, only a fraction of that, whatever fraction. So in the early days is going to be very slow. So essentially almost nothing, because these are the people who want to, if this is why it's called the patient incentive pool. The patient incentive pool allocation percentage gets it goes up after 28 days. You cannot enter there anymore. And now the allocation starts going up and up and up. So obviously on day 88, whatever is in that patient incentive pool, 28% of that can be distributed on that day if you happen to want to exit.
So you get paid on the exit?
Yes, and then you're out of that. You're not part of the pool again.
And then that's it. Gotcha. And the only way to get into the pool is by minting.
Is by being in the auction.
Auctioning.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you auction on day 1. Yes. And you don't claim until a day 88.
Yes.
That's where that incentive pool is coming from, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes. So probably let me try to make it a bit more simpler even. Let's say you participate on whatever day 1. So I mean, obviously in the first 8 days, that's where you can probably get a bigger chunk of the tokens, right? Because day 9, it's definitely way less. But still, nevertheless, right, even day 9, 10, 11 to day 28, you can still participate on that. If you wait the longest, you can still get, at some point, you can still get a big chunk of it, still, if you wait the longest, right? So that's the gameplay of it as well. So let's say you waited for 28 days. And at that point, you have, let's say, 10% of the shares, or 10% of the unclaimed tokens, right? So on day 88, 28% of that. So it means 28% times the 1,000. Imagine if there's 1,000 tokens on that day. So it's 20% times that 1,000 tokens times your share when you want to exit on that day.
Okay.
Yeah. And the people who you leave behind, since you are out, they have a bigger share now. Yes, you have taken your piece now, sure, but they have a bigger share now. And the patient incentive pool, obviously, it will drop there on that day if you exit, because you have taken a piece of your thing, so it will drop. But obviously, when the buy and burn is running, it's still pumping up more. There's going to be more tokens coming in there, and also you have a bigger share now, and every day it's going up. So that's the thing, right? So
I like it. It's kind of got like a WhatsApp, action going in it, where it's like, the last man standing is going to get a hell of a reward there. I like that.
I heard that Perp was saying that WhatsApp. I haven't participated, but it's like while I was explaining, I think I was explaining it to Cryptographics, and he was like, "Oh, so this is like WhatsApp."
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, "WhatsApp? What?"
Yeah, basically, it's as they crush their NFTs to gain reward. It's the same thing that Element 280 is doing now. Gotcha. As they're crushing the NFT, the only way you can get the value of it is by destroying it, and then by destroying it, everybody else gets more value. And so whoever is the last guy to destroy his WhatsApp gets just an enormous amount in the end. And so that's kind of like what you're doing there, except it's not an NFT, but yes, still the same idea. I like it.
Exactly. So essentially, it's still the same idea. Yeah. And the other thing as well is obviously day 369. So it's 100% of the allocation. So if you have 10% of the shares or like the pool, um, all the tokens when you want to exit, the distribution is just going to be 100% of the whatever tokens is in there right now, right? And essentially, this is the pension incentive pool is going to be fed forever. Well, I mean, as long as the buy and burn is there,
Right.
this thing is just going to be filling up for sure. So
That's
obviously,
wild, Mike. I like this new dynamic you're putting in here.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting, right? Because it's kind of like this is some of the things like you just don't know what's gonna happen, right? How many people will just wait longer? How many people will just not claim? And then there's definitely some people who are gonna claim, but then again, it's like even if they claim, yes, they're gonna get a bit of the piece of the incentive pool, but the allocation is very low, especially in the beginning. The allocation is like so low. It's like, yeah, okay, fair. You're gonna get a piece of that, but it's like somewhat, imagine like a pizza, and let's say I don't know, is that a good idea? Yeah, well, let's run with this. Imagine there's a
Okay.
pizza, right? And
Okay.
then imagine that pizza grows every day.
Okay.
Because essentially here the allocation, it's basically the pizza is growing, and then it's like you can exit. Let's say you own 10% of that pizza, so you get a piece of that. And so when the patient incentive pool grows, that allocation, it's you get a bigger piece now. And then at some yes, and then at some point you can be like, okay, you know what, this piece is now big enough for me, I want to take it. But now once you've taken it, now you're out. It's like
But
the
the
people.
pizza keeps growing for everybody else.
Exactly. So obviously, when you take the pizza, like the pizza in that moment, obviously it is smaller now.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. But
But
now
it's
it's
still
like, okay.
building over time. Yeah.
Yes, but now the pizza's like, oh, Mo has taken his piece. All right, no worries. Now the pizza is a bit smaller, but it's now growing.
And as it's growing, it's not growing using my part. That part's
Yes,
gone now.
that
Yeah.
that part is
So
gone.
everybody else is getting, yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like this a lot.
yeah, that part is, if especially, is gone, and then obviously now there's other people there as well. I'm like, okay, how are they gonna be? Yeah, it's like, oh, maybe I'm gonna take my pizza, but the thing is, like, the pizza keeps growing and the
Bro,
allocation.
you're
So
making me
there's
fucking hungry over here, man. That or I'm glad I'm not playing a drinking game called pizza right now.
yeah, yeah. So probably something important also to mention is like in the auction, you can enter the auction with multiple times, right? It's not like, oh, the first day is like, oh, I only have to enter one auction. Like, you can enter several times in the auction, so you can be like, oh, I'm gonna do I don't know, maybe I have whatever, this type of, like, whatever I have, this is the allocation I want to spend. I'm gonna DCA
Right.
in the first 8 days. But then it's like on the first day or whatever day is like, I'm gonna enter the auction twice, let's say, as an example, or 3 times. And it's like, oh, these are the ones I want to claim earlier. These are the ones I want to claim probably a bit in the middle. And these are the ones I want to claim, like, really, I want to wait long term. So one
Gotcha.
third, one third, one third. I mean, there's a lot of ways people can play the game, whatever. It's like, but from what people I've been talking to, they're like, I'm going to probably do one third, one third, one third. One third probably early. I'm just going to claim them and see what happens. And then probably the others a bit more further down the line. And then the other third is just going to wait the longest and then see. And then there's some others that they are like, you know what? I'm going to be the last man standing. I'm like, all right, bro. No worries.
You're like, more power to you, brother. That's why I'm
Yes.
making this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Legit.
So I think this is something, just like a little twist in some ways, to just, I mean, because it is fun, because there's a lot of moving parts, right? Where do you have, I don't know, like a pizza which keeps growing in some ways, and then people take it away, and then it's like, oh, maybe there's more pizza, you know.
Okay, I think we missed an opportunity here. We could have had a sponsorship on this episode for a pizza somewhere. I
That
don't.
would be awesome, right?
Everyone in the chat's like, I'm hungry. I want a pizza. Give me some pizza.
Yeah, it's like should have like Domino's or something. Yeah,
I'm just saying, man.
Domino's, man. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, hopefully the patient incentive board is a bit more clean now, because I was like trying to explain it to people, because one thing I was a bit not worried per se, but I was, because the thing is, when when a person decides to take the pizza piece away, obviously at that point the patient incentive pool drops, because they've taken their part. So I was a bit worried, like how, like trying to explain that to people, because it's like, hey, how come I had yesterday this much and now my incentive pool is dropped? Like, yeah, because, well, people
Because
exited,
some
right?
guy exited.
Yeah, yeah,
But as the
exactly.
buy and burn comes, it'll keep getting fed. And that's just one last person who's getting fed.
Yeah,
So
and you
now it's
share.
going to everybody else.
Yes, there is probably less now in the patient incentive pool, because somebody has decided to like claim, but when they claim, your share goes up.
Look, when they claim and they take their pizza, that's fine. But the pizza still grows. We're still putting toppings on it. And this is one less mouth to feed. See?
Yes,
I did
sir.
that. Yeah, I did that.
Let's fucking go.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I think that's a genius addition. And I'd love to see lots of versions like that going forward on protocols. I want to, I used to call it like the anti-Jeet tax. I
Yes.
was like, what do? You just, there needs to be some anti-Jeter tax where every Jeter that Jeets out, you just tax that MFer into the ground, and then we all benefit on it. But this is better. I like it. Incentivizing as opposed to penalizing is always
Yes.
better. I like it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I thought, yeah, yeah. I never thought about it that way, but I was, for me, it was just like, because if you're using Uniswap V3, it's like you cannot add taxes, right? And then I was like, okay, if you cannot, like, I wanted to use V3 because V2, like, there's some ways it's a bit harder, especially for the buy and burns, a bit harder to work with. So I was like, okay, I mean, the way you said it, I think was pretty good. It's like I'm incentivizing without, because the tax essentially comes from, well, whoever is selling at that moment.
But taxes are not. I mean, like, unless you're building a specific arbitrage protocol with multiple
Yes.
LPs built specifically for our bots, taxes will never generate more economic energy.
No, no,
Incentives will, not taxes, not penalties. So,
no, yeah.
just in that sense alone, I'm always more for incentives and less for penalties.
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I like, that's a good point. I didn't even like was thinking about that way. Like when I was making this, I was not even thinking about that at all. But I think people should. I don't know. Like, if your project wants to incorporate something like this, or maybe like a version of this, I think it makes sense.
I do too.
I think it
I do
makes
too.
sense.
That is absolutely, like on the side, I've kind of mentioned that I'm trying to work on something, and
Hmm.
that's actually one of the big focuses that I have is incentivizing long-term holding. I
Yes.
want to get back to protocols that incentivize people to do what we're all supposed to do in crypto, which is
Yeah.
buy and hold. You know,
Yes.
um, and so I definitely went through that where I was like, do I penalize the people who
Yeah.
are selling earlier, or do I incentivize and more reward the other people?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's where it really does fall in, because there's a million different ways to look at it. But one way to look at it is, say, just for
Hmm.
number wise, say I throw a 5% tax on something. Well, that's great. Well, that means now that I need more than a 5% profit, just to break
Yes.
even.
Yep.
And so that's a disincentive for some people. So
Yes.
I like the idea of incentivizing versus penalizing. I understand there's plenty
Hmm.
of reasons to, in every certain, in each circumstance, there are its own reasons to do,
Yeah.
maybe taxes in certain situations. But on the whole, I like incentivizing versus penalizing. I think it's much better for an economic system.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree on that one. And the thing is, like this variation here. I mean, there's like a lot of variation you can do with this now, right? Because you can also, let's say, one thing you could possibly do, right? For instance, right? Because for me, I just wanted to people to just have that optionality. I didn't want to lock them up. But I mean, that's just like my perspective in some way. But the thing is, like, what you could do is, let's say, I don't know, let's say it's an auction system, but then you can say, you know what, lock me, like an option where people lock me in for the next 30 days. And
Right.
then also just in pension incentive pool the same way, but it's an option which they can choose.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
Yeah.
something, that's just another way of. And then there's obviously like the main idea is just you have this pool in some ways, and then it's like there's million variations you can play around with, optionality of locking people up, uh whatever. I mean, there's a lot more. While I was doing this, I had so many ideas at the end, but at some point with this kind of project, it's just like you cannot change now things, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, you have to settle on things. You're like, this is a good idea, and this is a good idea, and this is a good idea. You're like, yeah, but fuck, man, I can't do them all. Like, I gotta like, and they need to flow into each other. And yeah, no, I got you. I've done
Yeah.
that too, where you're like, oh, that's a great idea, but I guess I'm gonna have to park that away in my head for something else in the future because this is better for this. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So I mean, the one idea was like optionality, where people choose themselves to lock themselves up in some ways. I think
Mhm.
that could be something. It's a great idea as well. And then there, what you could do there, for instance, would be something like, um, they have more shares.
Yep.
Like you
I
can
like the
just
way you're doing it
incentivize.
though. I like this idea a lot, especially the idea of giving the optionality to them in which
Yes.
they're still not locked. Like it's your choice to keep
Yes.
going forward, you know, and
Yes.
if you decide to end it, well, you're not locked. But if you want that reward, then you have to stay locked in your conviction and keep
Yes.
going forward. So I like that. I like
Yeah.
putting it on the user a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like, the same ways, like, if you do, like, let's say 30-day lockup or 60-day lockup, you can still give them that option right at the
Yeah.
UI, right? So, I mean, that would be just a different way. But for me, it was just like, hey, you're free to unlock at any time. It's just at the end of the auction, you can just do it, but you can just wait longer. And it's like, sure, it's like you can just unlock. But
Yeah.
I think there's also just good reasons the same way. If you just say like, hey, optionality, lock me for 30 days in, lock me in, and then you give them just more shares, let's say, and then it's like they have just extra shares for those 30 days, which is, I think that's a good idea too.
I think it's going to be like, you know, token distribution. There's going to be many different ways to do it, and certain ways may be better for you. But as long as the overall idea is you're building some sort of a, you know, like you're doing a patient's incentive pool, I think that's definitely the way to go. However you execute that, that's on you. But yeah, I think definitely I like what you're doing, man. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
What one another thing as well. I mean, I have definitely a lot more ideas like for other people who want to build. I have like definitely some few more ideas which I could definitely share if I don't know, just write me a DM, whatever. It's
Let's
like,
go.
yeah, yeah. There's some good stuff which you can play around with. I mean, one of it is this patient incentive pool. There's ways you can change that, but also if you want to do auction as well, there's some few ways you can play around with that as well. Yeah. So Mo, let me ask you, man. I mean, we essentially pretty much patient incentive pool is the end of the protocol in some ways. What are you cooking, man?
You're not getting that out of me. Nice
No?
try.
Ah,
Nah.
come on, come on, man.
Nah. Uh, how do I say this? Anything I say has just got a bunch of asterisks on the end.
Okay.
So I have to fulfill certain metrics, certain things, boxes need to be checked. And I'm not going to do them unless all of them get checked in my head. One of them is if I come up with something and at the end of it, I think like, it doesn't really add that much value, then I'm not doing it. So
Okay.
so I don't really want to talk that much ahead of time
Mm-hmm.
and give an impression like I am for sure actually building something when I may come up with something and be like it's not good enough. I don't
Yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So the caveat being, if I get all my boxes checked, then yeah, I may have something really neat to give this community. I'm still in the very early stages of it. I
Awesome.
have been talking with many people in the
Very cool.
community, and I will be talking to you.
Yeah.
But I'm still in the early stages of it. So, uh, at this point, talking about it's kind of like talking about who's going to win the Super Bowl when we're in the preseason.
Fair
So,
enough. Fair enough.
yeah, it's little early to start talking, but I am excited to be working on lots of things in my head and seeing what I can come up with.
Super.
But
That's mhm.
I'm going to spin it back on you.
Fire away. Yes. Wait. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. Like, do we have
Um,
questions?
yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Oh.
I was going to go through
Oh,
the
nice,
questions.
nice. All right. Lovely.
All right, we're going to go in reverse order because they're kind of the
No
most
worries.
pertinent that way. Um,
Oh, I just saw that
so
one as
he was
well.
asking about hyper being burned, but it's more the matrix is being burned, and the hyper is the bypressure, right?
The hyper, which exactly. So 80% of the Titans coming in will have to buy at some point hyper essentially, right? So that's one of the things. And the burning part, it's I think maybe he mentioned. I think this is something which also like on Titanic's up. If you have a look, there is here is like burn slash staked, and the reason
Yes.
why I did that
Burn,
was
lock,
essentially
stake.
exactly right, and because here Dragon X doesn't burn Titan X per se, but they stake that forever and essentially forever staked.
Untouchable.
Yes,
Same thing with your hyper. All
yes,
the hyper that Matrix buys is untouchable.
yes. All for the Matrix Vault with the one which gets staked. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
it. Never come back to circulation again. Yeah.
So
So
burning not so much, but in terms of how much do you hope to get staked? Maybe. How about that? You want to throw that out there? How much would you hope to get staked by maybe by the end of let's not go crazy. Let's say by the end of the first week. How much would you
the
like
first
to
week.
what would you like to see there? Because you're a founder, you can't quite go with
Yeah.
predictions, and I understand that.
Yes. I mean, I don't know if I think
That's fine.
if
I
no
threw
no
a
no
hot grenade in your lap.
no no I
Toss it
think I
back.
have
Toss it
something. I
back.
have something. I have something. I think I have something.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure, but I heard an interview with Michael Saylor, and I'm not sure if he said that, but I believe he said that. And it's like, how much Bitcoin you wanna buy? And he said like all of it. So I'm just gonna be like all of it. I don't know. I don't know if he said
I
that,
love
but
it. I love it. I love it. Like the important part is that Matrix is going to be a benevolent actor in this in a benevolent whale in the hyper system. And
yeah,
it's going to be producing a load of buying opportunity, a load of buying pressure on hyper, and half of it will be getting staked away forever
yes,
and
yes,
untouchable, never to come back on the market and be dumped on you again. So
yeah.
that's awesome, and you got to
and
look at it
and
from that
and and
standpoint.
50% of the payout as well are gonna be restaked again on top of that as well.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Um, stats issue. Stats aren't matching up
So,
on Telegram and somewhere else.
sorry, man. Sorry, man. I'll fix that. I'll fix that.
I think DeFi came into the conversation late. Do you want to
Yes.
go over again? Why did you pick Hyper?
Yes, I think I mentioned it earlier as well. I think one of the things which I picked up Hyper for, I mean, there's different things, but one of it was just like I was seeing a lot of people going to Dragon X, a lot of people like building on the Inferno part. And it seemed like rather Hyper was like that kid was left on the side and didn't want to, nobody wanted to interact with him in some ways, right?
Pick
And then,
me.
yeah. So, yeah, but even if you look at it, like a lot of ETH came in through Hyper, which basically helped a lot of Titan X actually, you know, is because all the ETH which comes through Hyper is goes directly and help the whole ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like that was something which people were not yeah, like not. And I was like, hey, I think it would be a great thing if we have something also building uh, on Hyper. And obviously I really like that Turbo is in on a which Turbo went in there, because at the end of the day you want demand for stuff, right? Like demand is the one which people come in for, right? I mean, it's like the value comes from the demand, and if nothing gets built on Hyper, let's say per se, there's not going to be very much demand for it. So it's
That's a good
just
point.
something, yeah. It's just something where it's like I think this is like a base where it can be built upon, and obviously, like I'm gonna uh, like do my best to represent Hyper and do the best to build on that. And the one of the reasons like why I wanted to accept Titanix is also, first of all, it's a bigger base, let's say, and it's going to be by pressure for that, and people participating in the matrix are going to be in the Hyper ecosystem as well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a couple comments here. Machine never dies. The code never dies. I'm a Titan X Eternity believer.
Yes, log crypto.
Volt rocket ship. I love
Yes,
it.
sir.
Trader Lee is one of Jake's alter egos, apparently. Here you go. Can we get? Oh, that's a good one. Can we get Matrix Rain code, digital rain code
Bubble.
behind the bubbles?
Oh,
That would be
oh,
sick.
that would.
That may be a little difficult. We'll
No,
see.
actually, it's not that difficult. I mean,
It's like I could do that. I could fucking do that.
yeah. I mean, that could be. Maybe it's gonna be. Maybe it could be an option where it's like, hey,
When
turn.
Mike gets quiet, that's like Jake looking up, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I could do that."
Yeah, I
Mike's like,
think
"Ooh,
it could
yeah."
be cool. Maybe like a switch or something here, like, here, make it rain, make it Matrix rain.
Oh, that'd be cool. Make it rain. Click on Make It Rain, and the Matrix rain comes down. That'd be just yeah. Just title that Make It Rain.
Make
Switch.
it rain, yes. Ah, that would
That'd
be
be
cool. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
All right,
I
I like
think,
it.
yeah. Maybe I'll add that. Yeah.
Um, can you make the project logos bigger in the bubbles?
Yes, I
Okay.
can
Oh,
do
I got it
that.
because they're
Yeah.
easy. It makes it easier to differentiate when the bubbles are small. Okay, fair point.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Or
I'll.
just maybe
Yeah.
scale up when they're small. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of like scaling because, like, you see here, like Eden now, it's like a much bigger. So, like, for instance, now, whatever,
Yeah,
X28, right? So it is a lot smaller. So maybe I'm gonna scale them a bit high, a bit bigger than they are right now.
it's a work in progress. You're getting there,
Yes, the first
but
version I
it's
had, yeah.
yeah.
And by the
Version
way,
1.0. There we go.
yeah, and I don't know if you've seen it. Like, I think this it just got bigger. X28 just got bigger. The prices or like the percentages, I think every 10 seconds or so there's an update. So
Oh, nice.
yes. So what I did today, I mean, it just launched yesterday, right? I had it all running the whole day on one of my screens.
Well, earlier you were saying this, and I was almost like, God dang it, Mike. Like the only problem I have with this now is Titan X Hub. I want to be my actual homepage. Titan
Yeah.
X Portfolio. I need to be my homepage, and now I need the bubbles to be my homepage. I only have two screens, Mike. I can't do this. I
No.
need another screen now.
Yeah.
Bubbles above with each screen. Yeah. Anyway,
So I
you're doing a
had it
great
the whole
job, man.
day, man. It was so much fun to look at because at some point it's like, oh, this bubble's coming bigger, and this is like, and then Tink, for instance, it was just at some point it was just like getting bigger and bigger. I was like, what's going on with Tink? Yeah.
Ted, I don't know what you mean, but come on if that's what you're asking. I need help. Sure. Come on,
Need help
buddy.
with more. Yeah,
More people,
yeah.
the better. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. There's MoX,
Moix.
apparently. People are coming up with all these protocols for me.
There's
I got
I heard like a
MoX, FOMO,
Mogan.
Mogon. Yeah. Yeah, pretty funny.
That's
All right.
pretty awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, when's the release again?
The release, oh man, it's very late here. So 17th.
17th. Do
Yeah.
you have a UTC time? pegged
I
down? Is it we'll kind of know when we get
I'll
there?
tweet that out at the time exactly. So
Okay.
there's I'll tweet that out. I think that'll be best.
In the Telegram first, and then on Twitter.
Yes, I think that would be the best. And one thing which I also Jake, I
We
asked
got a
him.
visitor.
We have visitor. Lovely.
Yes, I think that would be the best.
Look at
And
that.
one thing which I
I'm gonna mute him just for a second
Yeah,
because
yeah. I think
his
he has,
speaker is on.
yeah. So one thing I also learned. One thing I wanted to
Hello?
follow.
just for a second.
Yes,
Yo,
His speaker is on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you might have YouTube on in the background.
is your we can hear your YouTube.
Yeah.
I think I'm on a big delay.
I can hear you, but you might have YouTube on the background.
Is your we can hear your YouTube.
Yeah. I think you have
How's that? Is
a
that better?
YouTube tab.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Good to go.
Lovely.
How you doing, Ted?
How's it going, bud?
Nope. We'll get him here in a second.
No worries.
Okay, so Matrix release will be on the 17th, and you will tweet out the time and put it in the Telegram as we get near.
Yeah, as we're getting near, it's like I'm gonna probably tweet it out tomorrow at the time because I was just trying to make sure everything okay that day, line everything up correctly, check out. One thing I also learned from Jake as well is that the only place where
Okay.
the contract is gonna be is on the website only. I'm not gonna post it on Telegram. I'm not gonna post it on Twitter. The only place where the smart contract number is gonna be on the website, and that's it. I think to just prevent a lot of, I mean, they, how things run in the launch,
Yep,
especially.
it's safer that way, especially now
Yeah.
with how clever they're getting.
They're
Apparently, they
getting
can
so clever.
hijack the part of the Telegram. They can hijack some of those bots. Where then when people type in contract address, all of a sudden a different one pops up, even though you put in the correct one. So
That is so crazy, man. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
There, I can hear you now.
Hey,
how you doing, Ted?
I'm doing good. I want to know what you're building, Mo.
Oh,
Exactly.
That's not the stream for this. No.
Now, I heard that from Mike, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go and help Mike with it.
No.
Exactly.
Nice try.
I can't imagine
Nice
what you
try.
might have brewing
Let's
in your
gang
head.
up.
It might be a little of this, it might be a little bit of that, might be a little bit of everything. Who knows?
Gotcha. Well, I'm enjoying the stream, gentlemen. It's very good. Mike, this looks pretty top shelf, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. It took me quite some time, man, like the building, everything. But yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're part of my inspiration too, So
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys know, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ted, you had sent me a DM like rather early, like I think in the beginning of Titanix. I think
Yeah.
probably few months in, you sent me a DM, and you had, I think, I don't know, either you wanted to, there was a software issue you had, and you're searching for a solution. And
yes.
we had a talk for like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so.
Yep. Yeah, we did. That was you showed. I wanted to I was trying to think about how to re-engineer, reverse engineer, define my function on the iPhone for my field staff and my surveyor crews out in like really remote areas. And canopy can be a big issue with like the trees and everything with the GPS units that they use. So I was struggling with my team at work, and everybody's like, "Oh, geez, I don't know." I was like, "I think I know a guy I can talk to." So we arranged this phone call, and we talked for a good while, good hour or more. And you introduced me to What 3 Words,
Yes.
if you recall.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I took that, and boy, I ran with it, and I started exploring the enterprise edition of it, and we started implementing it into a lot of our reconnaissance and field survey work that we did when we were in really remote areas. It was surprisingly accurate and efficient, and we even used it to discuss using it for routing purposes for our fleet, but we never really got that far.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a huge help, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, this is probably something completely out. Like the whole idea is like you are somewhere in the world, which is like very remote, and you want to get to place, right? Maybe you know what I'm gonna show this. I mean, this is not crypto related, guys, but probably
It's cool.
It's interesting for you guys. So let's say, imagine I just give you 3 words, and I know where you are. I can just go there then. Like I don't give you the GPS coordinates. I give you just 3 words.
Mhm.
And essentially, what these guys did is the whole world is in 1 square meters. So it's like every piece of the world is in 1 square meter, and you just only need 3 words to know where a person is. If that makes sense. I can, you know what? I'm gonna do this. We're going off the tangent here, guys. Yeah, I shared the screen there. Mo, if you want to show it.
Ted,
This
Ted,
is
you're
not
muted.
crypto.
All right, I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. There we go.
All right. Yeah. So the website is called What 3 Words, and essentially, let's say you were, I don't know, can I?
Zoom in to show them the grid, and then go from there.
Where's the grid? I'm not sure.
Just keep zooming.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Keep
does it
zooming.
work?
It'll turn on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
Ah,
There it is.
okay.
So yep. You can just click on it. So that's the name of the square right there in the upper left-hand corner.
So you can essentially be like, hey man, come to Suspecting, Discouraged, Budgeted. And it will, this is 1 square meter in the real world, somewhere in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
I gotcha. GPS, but with words.
With words. And there's only 3 words you need.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a good example, Mike, and I can share with Mo too and everybody else, is like our cabin up in Michigan is really remote. All right. So if you were to actually use the physical address, a lot of times like UPS or Amazon or whatever, they could never find the cabin. They would just like, we get a call, hey, we can't find your residency or whatever, or else they would put it on another block or another part of land somewhere else along the route that they thought was our place. But I actually use 3 words as the address location for the recipient on all of my parcels now, because I can actually set it up to where if I want it placed at the square meter by the garage, I can designate that location. That's exactly where I put it. Yeah. So if I want it behind the house, they'll take it and put it behind the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because I can actually pick a square behind the house.
Yep. It's pretty good, man. I mean, but anyway, off the tangent. Bobbles.
Sorry.
Bobbles.
Like the bobble.
Bobbles.
Bobbles.
Got fucking bobbles over here, man.
We're nerds, man. We're nerds.
That was great. No,
Exactly.
yeah, I found that fascinating. Actually, I'm such a geek. I love that.
Yeah, so he wrote to me. I'm just like, oh, and then I was like, dude, I think I have great. Yeah, so I told him about the 3 words, man. I think it's pretty cool.
So the more important question then, Ted, is
What?
after you were like to all your your work team, you're like, I got this guy. This guy's gonna save us. Well, then when the guy saves you, did you go back to your team and be like, so he's in Titan X. You guys need to pay some appreciation by buying some Titan X now.
I wasn't that bold about it, but yes, there were seeds planted. There were seeds, and the IT department loved it, man. They were just like this. Oh God, it was just like kids in a candy store. Man, they were ripping open toolboxes, and it was funny.
We got another entrant into the conversation.
This ought to be
You
great.
ready?
Oh, somebody
What's
is
your guess?
coming up.
What's
You
your
ready?
guess?
You ready?
All right, let's go.
Yeah!
Yes, sir.
There he is.
I was gonna curse and say something controversial, but I don't want to get you banned again. So I'm not doing that. Usually I just go off, but yeah, man. Just had a couple minutes. Just come in. Heard Matrix is going on. You guys in the something about in the Inferno Kingdom or whatever. I don't know. You guys are doing all sorts of live streams, so I figure I just show up and say hello.
Hey,
Yeah,
how you doing,
shout
man?
out to you, man.
Appreciate it.
How's it
Another
going?
view.
Hey, my first time with you, bro. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an honor for me. I definitely listen. Like what you do.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got a live stream here in 30 minutes. Got to go over some charts, some stuff's going on, just tracking the market maker. It's doing its thing, another day in the matrix, all that good stuff. And also the other thing I want to say, guys, on this live stream, just do me a favor and comment down below. Say at Mike Dean, stop skipping leg day. Comments down below. This is turning into a problem, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So-
he's too busy picking out steaks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right down below. Right down below. Put that down in the chat. Mike has a problem, and we need to help him. Okay. That's what I think.
Yes, man. I think they're right, man. I'm gonna be back, man. Back. Like when Matrix launches, man, there's no skipping leg days now, man.
Nope. Here's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do chest 5 times a day and then leg day after that, because that's something to do with testosterone increase. I'm not really sure. I'm not smart enough for these things, but all I know is don't skip leg day.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the only reason you showed up is to tell you to stop skipping leg day, bro.
Yeah, man. I can't just want to come in, just say controversial stuff, all that good stuff. But yeah, but ultimately, how we looking with Matrix when we launching?
17th, man.
Okay.
17th.
So did you do a white paper reveal yet, or did I just come in
Yeah.
at the weirdest time?
No, you came in at the very end. We've already done it.
Yes, we're
Yep.
yeah.
Been a
We
pleasure,
just-
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I just
Perfect
had
timing.
the bubbles, man. Do you know the bubbles, man, on Titanic up now?
You seen it?
Bubbles.
No, I've not seen the bubbles.
Oh,
That's
man,
bubbles,
new,
man.
New
Bubbles.
feature. It came yesterday.
You
Oh,
want to
man.
pop one, don't you?
That's Cat's pajamas, man. That looks pretty sick.
Cat's pajamas. I like it.
Wow,
Yeah.
Making
that's
biscuits.
cool. I love it. I got Alien X up there.
Yeah, you have your.
I was just gonna
Chauncey as
say, you know
well.
what? I love Alien X.
Oh, Alien
That
X, man,
is
look at that.
my number one contrarian play in this ecosystem right now. If
You-
people want to fade stuff, I'm gonna be all over it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yes, sir. You bet you're sweet. Oh, I can't say that. Yes. So I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be PG-13 right now. But
You're fine.
the one
I've
thing I
already
was
dropped that bomb.
Yeah, I got you. So the one thing I'll say about Alien X, 30% of the supply has been burnt. It's got 7 LPs. 8th one's going to be added with Matrix. It's going to make this little liquidity web. And what's really special about Alien X is it's got that 2% burn off of arbitrage. So just like what Jake was doing with Shogun, he's utilizing that 8% going into the war chest, all that good stuff. Read the white paper. I don't feel like going through it at all. But long story short, Alien X is using that as a burner after the buy and burns run out. And the buy and burns are going to go on for the rest of the market. The Inferno buy side is going to be going on till the top of the market. And then the Tynex one, I believe it has about 3 to 4 weeks after this. I need to double check. But that's the theory. So I didn't mean to be shilling Alien X in a Matrix stream. So
Yes, you did. I've demanded you do that, and I demand everyone come
It's
and
being
shill their
recorded too,
products.
by the way.
what's up?
So,
Say that again.
it was being recorded too, so
Oh yeah, and by the way, if you guys want to check out Tynex Hub, use my discount code The Verse to get
Son of a
what's it,
bitch.
10% off. Just to let you know, if you use my discount code, you're more likely to make gains in this market. It's been statistically, scientifically proven. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Listen to him. He knows what he's talking about.
Was it 20% off, Mike, or 10% off? I can't remember.
It's 10% off.
Okay, 10% off. There you go. Boom.
Just like that.
I love it. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, guys, if you have any more questions on Matrix, drop it in the chat here. But we've gotten all the questions. We've done the white paper reveal. Our man Chaos Chris is going to start his own stream here in just a little bit. So we're going to gracefully step off the stage and allow him to do his banger of TA analysis because, God damn it, I love it. And I'm going to watch it. So
When are you starting?
yep.
A few minutes?
6 p.m. Eastern time. So about a little less than 30 minutes. So
All right, lovely. I'm gonna join
Yeah.
in then. I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, we're gonna go through TA, talk about Bitcoin, talk about 10x price chart, and also, guys, before this live stream wraps up, please do me a favor, follow Mike Dean, follow the Mo, follow TEDx. They do a lot of great work. They add to the community. They have their own specialty, and their own specialty really contributes to the 10x ecosystem as a whole. And guys, also please check out Matrix, read the white paper. I'll probably do a live stream talking about it and whatnot. But it's going to be a really great protocol built on top of Hyper. One of the first protocols to build on top of Hyper, technically. Well, I guess you can say Shogun. But ultimately, it's going to add value to the ecosystem. And it's going to be a positive feedback loop. So please check it out and get ready because I'm excited for the project launch. That's it.
And shout out to you. Cool. Shout out to Alien X. Goddamn, you guys have done some bangers on Pulse Chain. I can't wait to see where Alien X goes on Titan X. Guys, if you want to support him, you can't say it. I can. Get some Alien X.
Get some Alien X.
All right, man.
Hey, Chaos, just real quick. I just want to throw something out real quick. Mike, I hope you don't mind. We're doing nice. The Mizuchi white paper reveal is this Saturday at 4:00. I just want to let you know. And we'll have Jake on the stream. We'll have Mo, Rudy Kazuti, myself. And I'm going to see if I can maybe talk to Mr. Mike Dean and some other folks to see if I can get them to swing by. And you're more than welcome as well, sir.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I need to catch up on 10x research, but hey, it sounds like an awesome protocol and excited to hear more about it, man.
It'll be fun. Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys, also please check out that protocol because you got more projects in the pipeline.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right, guys. Last words. I'm gonna go reverse around the horn. We'll start underneath. Chaos. Give me some last words, brother. Give me give me some more on Alien X, man. I don't hear more enough about Alien X. I want more. Give me more.
See, here's the thing. You go on the news and you see drones flying over New Jersey, and I cannot confirm this, but
yeah, what the hell is all that about?
I don't know. Maybe Alien X had a play in it. You never know. So there's things happening on the news. There's things happening on the blockchain. Alien X is all over. It's going on a Pulse Chain. It's absolutely the hidden mystery gem. Just like when I pop up on live streams out of the blue. Same with Alien X. It always pops up. It's on, and then we got Inky, we got Alien, we got this cross-chain liquidity. We got so much going on, man. It's like a glitch in the Matrix. And when I say welcome to another beautiful day in the Matrix, well, guess what? I built it. So, like I said, when it comes to Alien X, man, it's a sleeper. We got a bunch of LPs. It's building up. When Matrix launches, it's going to tie into the Matrix ecosystem because I absolutely love Matrix. It's a brand name me and Mike discussed before. And come on, man. How can you not hate on the Matrix when all we do is talk about on Twitter, on TineX Twitter? I mean, it's like the one thing. Sorry, that was a crazy rant. But, guys, here's the deal. We're going to have a meme coin run on top of TineX. You're going to see projects like Mizuki, Matrix, Alien X do its thing. Alien X launched at the top, but we burned most of the supply. The LPs are out there, and it's ready to go. So, like I said, I agree with the real GMO. It's an absolute sleeper. We're on the news. We're on across different blockchains, and we're going to be here for the rest of this market. So, and until the end of the time. So, sorry, that was a crazy rant.
Go. No, that's perfect. And hey, I'm just gonna tag on that.
Man, I need your marketing budget.
Videos, all of these alien stories and drone videos, Alien X, #Alien X, #Alien X. Let's fucking go. Like the aliens are already here. This is easy marketing to tag on. Let's fucking go.
And look, Alien X, the only reason why Alien X is an invasion on the TineX ecosystem is because Mike Dean keeps skipping leg day. It's turning into a problem. Like, I'm telling you, all the rumors about Mike are 100% true. Okay, so if you hear a rumor, assume it's correct. Dude, they're actually gonna play this.
Oh my God. This is the most epic end to any stream I've ever done. This is perfect. Ted, last words, brother. You got any last words for us, Ted?
Mr. Dean, it's always been a pleasure and an honor. You definitely put a monster. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. We have a delay between you and me.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. Anyways, Mike, Matrix was awesome. I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to be going in on that. You guys sold me on Alien X, and guess, Chris, I had no idea where you get your marketing budget from, but I definitely want to figure out, and hopefully I can get some drones and whatever flying around. But that was well played, sir. Well played. No, it's been an honor. And Mo, I'm looking forward to Saturday. And let's rock and roll, man. Awesome.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Thanks for coming on, Ted. Appreciate you. Chris, you too. Appreciate you coming on, brother. You're always welcome. Anytime I ever do a stream, come shill Alien X. Ted, come shill your protocol every single time. I don't care what I'm talking about. Come on, pop on, just yell your protocol name, pop back off. Or come on, yell
I'm gonna do it.
leg day needs to stop skipping leg day and then just pop back off. Mike, give us some last words, brother. This is this is your stream. This is your protocol. We love you, man. We're all here for you.
That's fantastic, man. I really, really appreciate you guys, man. This is amazing. Thanks for the invitation to your channel, man. And thanks for, for Ted, Chaos Chris, for all guys joining, man. It's definitely amazing. I mean, as you guys know me, man, one thing for sure, Titanix Sub, I've been just working as hard as possible to build everything up to now. And I'm not going to stop. We're just going to keep on doing, man. Innovation, coming with new stuff, a lot of things coming, a lot of new stuff coming for Titanix Sub. And lastly, after the launch, definitely not skipping leg day, man. I tell you that.
I love it. I love it. I was going to say, we don't stop. You don't stop. Titanix doesn't stop. Mike doesn't stop except for leg day. But let's fucking go.
Yes, sir.
Guys, thanks you all for coming in. Please go follow Chaos into his stream, The Verse 369. Follow it on YouTube or hop in on his Twitter profile. But hop in the YouTube one. Get in the chat. Really get active because he does some solid streams and he does the best TA out there. I legit try and hop in every single stream that I can. Half the time I'm in there and I'm not chatting because I'm on headphones, so I do apologize. But I'm almost always listening in, brother. You're doing a bang up job and keep at it.
Appreciate y'all.
Guys, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, brother.
Let's fucking go. I can't wait for Matrix launching on the 17th. Let's go. All right.
Fantastic.
Mike, appreciate you, buddy. Ted.
All right.
Chris.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Thank you, guys.
See y'all.
Peace.
You guys are awesome.